Welcome back to another review. I'm looking at the Xiaomi AMAZFIT Bip today. This was sent in via Gearbest and this comes in a few different colours. I have the grey version to look at. You'll notice with Xiaomi they tend to have minimalistic packaging, very simple. So all you get is the watch, there's an instruction manual and the dock here for charging. You can see the contact points and the silicone pads underneath, USB. Quick look at the user guide, very simple and straightforward. Worth giving this a quick charge when you get it out of the box. You can see the QR code there. Xiaomi don't tend to mess around with their instructions, very simple and straightforward. Quick look at the specifications. Although the battery doesn't look huge, 200 milliamp hours is pretty good for a watch of this type. We'll look at the battery life later on, and that's your warranty information as well, 12 months limited warranty. Now when you get this out of the box, just peel off the sticker and then you use the crown, push that in, and that acts as your home button and the power button as well. So long press that in, you see it's asking to pair up to the phone. Press again, you get the backlight function as well. So looking at the watch quickly, we have plastic clasp on this, but it's quite thick, and the case is mainly plastic again, but a thick silicone band, lots of adjustment sizes for different wrist sizes, and on the back we have the contact points there for the charging, and that's the heart rate monitor sensor. Pretty simple, feels quite well built actually for the price. It's definitely not a high-end watch, but it's quite affordable, and fit and finish are good. It's quite lightweight as well. Now this is the QR code, we're going to go and scan that in, just install the app. So it's the MiFit app that you have, and you can put your own details in here such as your weight, date of birth, height, and set yourself goals such as steps per day. Now once you've got the installed, you need to pick out the particular type that you have, and for this obviously it's the Bip. There's a few different ones that Xiaomi do. And it will search, look for the watch, and then you just confirm the pairing on the watch. Now what it does do is some updates, and this takes about 4 or 5 minutes the first time, probably because they've done quite a few software updates. So let that run and then you can come back to that. Just going to look at the app. I found it to be very stable. What you will have to do is tweak around with the settings, particularly notifications and what you want to be notified of, such as emails and things like that. Instant message calls, you can sort of shut that down or add it. By default it doesn't really have many activated, so you can go in and do that with call reminders, things like that. So you can use it pretty much how you want and lock out what you don't need. You can also tag activities, so it will start to learn things, what you're doing in terms of activity and fitness. A nice little feature you have is the built-in compass. Have to rotate that around to calibrate that. Although it's not the quickest to update, it's something which could be pretty handy to have. As far as the display goes, it's pretty good for the price. You'll notice that the viewing angles are decent. I didn't have to use the backlight very much on this watch at all. When you do use the backlight, it does tend to fade away a little bit at extreme angles, perhaps not unexpected for the price. It's a good display, fairly straightforward to use as well. Swiping up or swipe down takes you to notifications, and you can go into the do not disturb profile. Swiping right takes you through the menus such as the status here, which gives you your heartbeat and also the distance travelled, calories, etc. And then you can scroll through other ones like activities that you can tag, weather, and you also have other functions such as alarm and stopwatch. So most of the stuff that you're going to need is on the watch. The more advanced settings, you will have to go into the app to change that. It's pretty consistent and logical. I'm pretty happy the way that they've done it. Also the brightness, you can adjust it as well. I tend to put it down slightly, and you can change the function of the buttons as well. That was just a demonstration on the Finder device. Useful to have if you misplace your phone, and I'll just scroll through some of the watch faces that are included. I believe there are custom ones that you can add. You'll notice that the resolution isn't super high. Definitely compared to the more premium watches, you do get some jagged lines, etc. I think it looks pretty good. It's quite acceptable for the price point as far as I can see anyway. It's a pretty good value watch as well, and the app works well. Over a period of time it will start to build up the data. You'll be able to monitor your activities as well. So regardless of whether you want it as a smartwatch or as a fitness tracker, it does the job well for both of them. You can see here with some of the data that I've been using it for, just under a week, and it will break down the individual stats for that. It's also water resistant, so you're not going to have any problems having a shower with it, although they don't recommend it for swimming. Absolutely no issues at all with that. So overall, it's a very decent little watch for the price. Some compromises with the display, not going to match the higher resolution displays on the more expensive watches. Battery life is really excellent, and he dropped about 15% after 6 days usage, so I think that's a strong point of the watch. You're not going to have to charge this very often. Very little to fault the Xiaomi on. The only compromise really is the screen display, which isn't going to match the more expensive watches in terms of the resolution, but in other areas they've done a really nice job on this smartwatch, and it offers quite a lot at a very modest price point.